Okay, so this is a video about looping. A couple of people have asked me about what my looping process is like, and I thought it'd be interesting to do a video like this with the camera focus on my loop station. Yes, I'm wearing very cute cat socks for you guys. You're welcome. And kind of just let you know what my process is like. This is not meant to be a tutorial of like, this is how to do it. This is meant to be, this is how I do it, and maybe it will either give you some inspiration and or give you a starting point, you know, for your own explorations. So I'm going to put this guitar down and I am going to show you what I have going into this looper for starters, because that's like the first step.
Where do the wires go?
Okay, here's the back of my loop pedal. That's a mic cable going in the mic in area. That's my guitar cable. That's going into the instrument in, and you see it says L mono. You could do it stereo. You could have the left and right input. Another thing you can do if you're going to use the looper in mono, which is what I typically do, is use this other instrument in. Instead of making it left-right, just make it a second instrument input. So I'll plug my keyboard in here sometimes, and I have keyboard and guitar. And I have independent volumes on the keyboard and guitar, which is what allows that to make it work, right? So I can adjust the volume on the instrument to make it a good sounding mix. Then we have output. That's a regular 1/4 inch cable. If you're a guitar player, we call that a guitar cable. Just a regular 1/4 inch cable going in there. And I have just one out because it's mono, right? If you want to have a stereo out, if you want stereo, you can use the left and right output. The reason I do this is because, like I said, if I want to get a second instrument in there, I use the mono output, so both instruments will go to both speakers or both sides of your headphones if you're listening on headphones. Whereas you might plug in one stereo instrument, right? Maybe you have a stereo effect on your guitar or something like that with 2 cables, and then if you get the stereo out with 2 cables, you're not losing that stereo picture. So that's cool. That's another option that you have. Here's the power cable. There's also a couple other things here that I'm not using. There's a USB output that will expand your memory banks, basically, if you want to use your looper that way. And there's an aux in here, so I could plug like, you know, a phone or an iPad or something in here and take the output of that if I wanted to use that as an input. So those are my inputs. Mainly, I've got a mic going in, I've got a guitar going in, I've got another 1/4 inch cable going out into my audio interface. Or if I were playing live, it would be going into my PA, right? Okay, I'm just gonna show you how to do what I did at the beginning of the video, because that is like kind of, that's my happy space. I'm a single performer. I do a lot of shows where it's just me and my guitar, and it's more exciting, both for me and the listener, if I can kind of layer some stuff. So I'm gonna just deconstruct what I did at the beginning of the video so that you can see what I've done here. And what I did at the beginning, you could do even with, this is an RC30 with 2 pedals. You could do with the single pedal version of the looper that Boss puts out as well, because I was only using 1 track, but I will show you later what the second track is all about. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna lay down a guitar track, I'm gonna go right into a vocal track and then layer another vocal track onto it so you can see how it works, how the layering works, all right? So that loop went around 3 times. First when I played it the first time, then it played it back to me and I recorded that second vocal. Then it played it back to me again. I recorded that third vocal. That's the main function of a looper. That's how it works. You have songs, or you have music being recorded in the loop. And as you can see, I can add to it. Right now it's in play. That's what this green button is. When I press this again, the red button's going to light up. That's going to let me know it's playing back and recording. So here we go. added another layer on there, right? Maybe this is a little too complex. I can actually erase the last thing I did by pressing and holding. You can see as this just went back to the original layers that I did. That's like the basic functionality of a looper. And what I'd like to share with you now is just like kind of what I'm going to do to dress up a song if I want to. I often do this at the end of a song. Maybe I'll play the whole song acoustically, me and my guitar, and then do some looping at the end because that kind of pumps it up, right? It makes it a big, exciting ending. So let me show you how I do that with one of my songs. It's called Magic Comin'. By the way, that's another kind of skill. When you stop a loop, wait until the end to stop it and kind of roll a nice chord so that it's a nice natural stop. These are the kind of skills that you get like as you're working with this. Another very important thing is counting, right? Like you want to make sure that you are in time with yourself. So you've got to have that internal metronome when you're looping. Otherwise your loops are not going to work out well. My rule of thumb, especially when I was starting out, is I'm always pressing this pedal on the 1. That way I know I'm starting on the 1 and I know I'm ending it when the 1 comes back around, you know. It could be more than one measure, but I'm always on the 1. So how do you incorporate this into a performance? If you are like me, I'm a performing singer-songwriter. I also, do cover gigs and stuff like that. If you're a solo performer, this is a great way to add some oomph to your performances. One way that I like to do is adding a loop build kind of at the end of a song. Maybe I've been playing the whole song on my guitar, just solo guitar and voice type of performance. And then at the end, there's a big chorus and I want to make it bigger. So I'm going to show you how I do that. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, then I'm going to do it so that you can kind of follow along. I'm going to play a chorus. It's going to be the chorus of one of my songs. It's called Magic Comin'. Then I'm going to go into the final chorus, which is going to be kind of a cool looping thing. So I'm going to play it a little differently and record while I'm doing it. I'm going to go record several vocals over it in a loop. Then I'm going to do some beatboxing on this same mic. And then I will have the opportunity, I'll stop recording and then I have the opportunity to like vamp my way out, right? Like maybe take a solo, maybe do some, big lead singer diva style stuff, whatever feels good. So let me show you what that looks like in practice. What's cool is it doesn't actually take a lot of work with the loop pedal. You really are just starting recording and then stopping recording and then finishing the song whenever and however you want to by stopping the whole thing. Here's what it sounds like. Oh, there's magic coming. Oh, there's magic coming. Oh, there's magic coming. Wait on me tonight. Oh, there's magic coming. Oh, there's magic coming. Oh, there's magic coming. Oh, there's magic coming. 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 Get ready for the rest of your life. So that's something that obviously took some practice to get together, right? Don't expect yourself to be able to build something and kind of stop on the fly in the middle of the loop like that without some practice. A lot of this is about timing. It's an exercise in timing. You'll notice I actually stopped the loop before I came back around to the 1, so I could grab this E chord and kind of allow for a more natural transition where I finish the song on just vocal and guitar. So that's kind of what one loop track alone will allow you to get to. We haven't even expanded to 2 loop tracks yet. And it's pretty cool, and it's like a really neat bag of tricks, especially if you're like a solo performer. It's very exciting to be able to kind of pull that out of your hat. I will show you what I would do if I was going to set up a song with maybe some percussion all the way through so that it's almost like I'm creating my own backing track. But rather than, there are singers who sing to a track, and I'm definitely not here to make fun of anyone's process. That can be a really cool way to give a performance, but it is exciting to be able to create a track on the fly and have people watch you build it, and that becomes like its own kind of performance. So I'm going to show you how I do that. Once again, I'm going to talk you through what I'm about to do, then I'm going to do the thing so that you can kind of see how it's done. First, I'm going to lay down some basic guitar chords. That's often where I start because I'm a guitar player. Of course, it doesn't have to be where you start. I'm going to lay down some basic guitar chords. Then I'm going to continue playback, but stop recording, right? So I'm going to hit this twice so it plays and does not continue to record. Then I'm going to hold this pedal in order to move on to track 2. And the reason I'm doing that is because on track 2, here's track 1, right? You see this light? That's the first track. When this is lit up, I'll be recording on track 2. When I move over to track 2, I'm going to lay down some percussion. Then I'm going to move back to track 1. And here's why. Track 1 is going to have those guitar chords I laid out. Track 2 will have some percussion that will continue throughout the song. But when it gets to the chorus, when I'm going to be playing the guitar a little bit differently, I can turn off the guitar and keep the percussion playing. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I stopped it, so it's playing back. Now I'm moving it over to track 2. See when that light switches over? That's a press and hold on this pedal. When that light switches over, now it's this other track that I would be recording on. Now I'm going to record some beatboxing on this track. Now I've laid down my percussion. That's cool. I'm going to probably continue with that through the whole song. I'm going to move back to track 1. Why? Because I'm going to start singing a verse. And I'm going to eventually want to turn off track 1 and go seamlessly into a chorus. So watch me do it. I'm going to sing a line. Then I'm going to turn off track 1. I'll be using this pedal to do that, just a 1 press, not a hold. And begin playing again. And I'll play a little differently for the chorus. Let me show you. I wanna be the future of a moment all my life and leading up to this. I wanna be that important to someone. I got the kiss. Now I'm gonna step ahead to the chorus, watch and see. Oh, everything I want to do, I got inside of me. Everything I want to do, I got in front of me. So as you can see, I'm playing a little differently in the chorus, so I just turned off the guitar. That's what this flashing light means. It means this track is ready. It's still there, but it's not playing right now. Then I'm going to come back around, right? I'm done with the chorus. I'm coming back to the verse. I just tap this once to bring it back. So here's my guitar track again, right? Now, if I want to have one of those big buildy choruses at the end of this song, which I typically do, I can still do that. Personally, what I like to do, I'll turn off track 1 entirely. Now I can play whatever I want, right? I'll move over to track 2. I can now build on this track because I'm going to go out on it. And I'm going to take the chorus, and then I'm going to do some layering, and then I'm going to finish off with like a big, nice chord at the end. So here's how it's going to go. Everything I want to do, I got inside of me. Everything I want inside of me. Everything I want I got. Everything I want. So now I have this cool track going on. Hope you can hear me okay over it. I could solo over this. I could do some vamping over this. Whatever I might feel like doing. I could build it up higher, right? And then at the end, once again, I'm going to find a place to insert a nice big chord and finish off the song so it doesn't, so it doesn't just end like a train wreck. So it ends well. I got this. So that is essentially, that's like the bag of tricks that I work with most of the time when I am doing a gig. I will lay down some stuff. I can build over it. on one track, or I could do the same thing on 2 tracks. It's nice sometimes to have that separate rhythm track, right? So that then you can go back and turn on and off your initial instrument as much as you want to. That's what I do with a looper. A lot of people use loopers for a million different things. There's 101 things you could do with them. A lot of people I see using them just as guitar players, just so they can kind of lay down some chords and solo over them, which I think is really cool. And I'm a singer too, so I love being able to use my voice. I did a little bit of research when I got this looper and learned some like basic beatboxing techniques, which you can find on YouTube. Since I've got a mic hooked up, you could really do anything, right? You could record any kind of acoustic instrument with the mic. You could be banging on an actual drum. So the possibilities are really endless. And that's what's so exciting about this as a solo performer, is just being able to do so many different things with this, one piece of gear and your foot. And yes, I really do play barefoot most of the time so that I can just go delete my track with my big toe. That's not required. It's just a weird quirk of myself as a performer. Most people, I think, lean over and just press the button. That's how I like to use a looper. Like I said, there's lots of different ways to use one, and I hope this gives you some inspiration and some ideas. I do like performance coaching and stuff like that. A couple of people have actually approached me about that and asked if I would help them make their performance more dynamic and help them, arrive at the biggest version of their own sound as a solo performer. I'm absolutely available for that. Feel free to reach out to me. You can message me here on YouTube, or you can email me, rorie@roriekelly.com. My name is spelled RORIEKELLY. And also, just if you have any questions about the looper, if you want some advice, if you're curious about how would you do this, I love to answer those questions. That's really fun for me. So drop it in the comments. I will absolutely get back to you. So I hope this video was at least interesting. And if you are someone who wants to incorporate this into your performance, I hope it gives you a kind of helpful starting point. Like I said, I didn't want this to be a tutorial on how to use a Boss RC30 looper. There are tutorials like that out there. And the truth is that there is no substitute for just practicing and, getting really good with your timing. That's something that you are just going to have to do on your own if you're new to looping. Once you get there, you'll find a couple things. First of all, your time gets really good. As a guitar player, my time is rock solid now because it really has to be for a looper. And part 2 is that you'll just find yourself, once you kind of level up with your skill, you'll just find yourself finding a lot of creative things that are now open to you that were not open to you before. So it's really fun. It's really exciting. It has really transformed my performances in the last couple of years working with this pedal. And I hope you found it interesting and informative. If you have any questions of any kind, hit me up in the comments. I would love to talk more. I would love to geek out about this in the comments with you. Okay, bye.